All right, I am back with some more Wheel of Time hot takes. I posted this a while back, and then I went through all of your hot takes in Discord and YouTube comments and responded to them. I recorded this about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Yeah, I recorded for about 2 hours, so that's why it got broken up into a couple of videos. But yes, this one, spoilers all the way to the very, very end of the series. So if you haven't finished, sorry, you can't watch this video. And the hot takes in this particular section are particularly hot. And my responses, I'm a little nervous about this one actually, because my responses also got a bit heated. So yes, but I guess let's get into it. Let's get into the hot takes.
Let's be nerdy with Let's Be Nerdy. Let's be nerdy with Let's Be Nerdy.
Mark and Tara, Lord of Chaos isn't that great of a book. The climax is great, but it takes way too long to get there. That is actually true. But, okay, accurate LOC is the start of the song. I disagree, just because I legitimately remember things that happen in, like, all books 1 to 5. I can tell you plot point things, or 1 to 6, I should say, things that happen in those books. And not just the end of the Lord of Chaos is like, I remember, healing of Logain and things like, I remember events that happen that feel awesome. Whereas like the slog for me ends with the end of Winter's Heart. That's the way because I like everything in there just is like, it's like a mush. Like I don't know what happens just because it's books and books of nothing happening. But I do agree that the climax takes way too long. But I also think that there are multiple climaxes. Like, there's multiple moments in The Lord of Chaos that I think are amazing. The other books in the slog, I literally, like, legitimately, if you ask me what happens in Crossroads of Twilight, I'm like, I think everybody just looks at the sky. I don't remember anything else. Okay, Diego Fernandez Lima. The story is incredibly good, well thought out, very creative, but the author's writing is not good. Oh, the character development isn't very good either. The events are also not very well developed. The characters are not likable most of the time. And if the number of books were reduced by half without an obscene, unnecessary number of pages and endless, repetitive descriptions, it would be one of the best classic fantasy stories. For goodness sake, that was my experience with the books. And if you think they're perfect in every single way, awesome, you're not wrong. There's nothing wrong with you. I'm glad you enjoyed them and had a good time. They're just not for me. See, that last paragraph? Great, yes. I disagree with pretty much everything in the previous paragraph, but I have been people have asked. I've seen it in Reddit. I've had it happen in person where people are like, should I read these? And I'm like, well, what do you like in a book? Because I don't think The Wheel of Time is for everybody. Like, if you read it and you find that you get annoyed by the level of description and you don't want like a story that is like told over, like, yeah, it's not going to be for you. Not everything is going to be for you, and that's fine. If you didn't like it, that's fine. I actually think the writing is amazing. I think RJ has amazing prose. I like the way he describes things. Like he has some tics as a writer. Like there's just certain phrases that he uses. Like every single time he's describing a woman, he cannot mention this part of the body without using the word breast. Like it's never chest. It's like it's always like that. That's all. He has certain tics that I find irritating. But just in general, like he's very, very evocative. I think the way he describes things is great. But again, there have been people I have said, I don't know that you like. I don't think you would like it. Like I've said that to people because I don't want people to feel like not every book is going to be for everybody. That's just. I'm sorry. That's just the case. And so yeah. The books are for me, not for this person, and that's fine. Surprised they finished it, though. Like, why would you finish it if you're not enjoying? I say that as I'm realizing I've gotten to a point in my life where I literally one day, it's going to sound incredibly morbid, it was a television show, I can't remember what show, but I was watching it because I felt like I had to finish it, and then in my brain I was like, why? I'm going to die at some point in my life, and I'm going to, like, as I'm dying, think I wasted my life finishing stuff that I didn't enjoy because I felt like I had to. And so that is like the thought that I'm having whenever I'm like taking in media for entertainment. If I'm not enjoying it, I literally just go, why am I doing this to myself? I'm going to die one day. I'm not going to finish this. Like, I'm not going to waste precious moments of my life entertaining myself with stuff I don't like. All right, we have here MN Drew. The only reason Elida and Gawyn weren't recruited by the Dark One is that even they have standards. I mean, Gawyn practically says this to Elida. So yes, yeah, that take is hot, and now it's at Gawyn. Yeah. Elida, I don't think Elida would have turned. I don't think. I can actually see Gawyn turning if, well, no, not, like, because Gawyn has such wrong, or distorted takes of things, and he has main character syndrome. I think if he was, like, offered the, like, a promise of being a main character, I could see it. Whereas Elida, like, she became Amerlin. You know, she, maybe after, during her time with the Shanshan, maybe, but, like, her following her path to serve the light, as wrong as she was about everything, she doesn't need anything else to help her. I could see Gawyn maybe being lured by, like, no, I'm actually the position that you think you are owed, I can give it to you. I could see that, but yeah, this is funny. Okay, Andrew Barrison. Perrin should have kicked Fail to the curb and pursued Berelain. Ooh, Berelain was the just as, if not more, politically observant as Fail. That is true. She would have been quite competent. Berelain would have been loyal to Perrin. She wanted a political marriage to save Mayenne, yes, but the books depict her as loyal to those she respects. She never respected Fail, which is why she continued to pursue Perrin. Not only to have Perrin, but to humiliate Fail. Yes, I hate that about her, actually. I hate part of her motivation. Again, people ignore this, and opinions, whatever. When people tell you who they are, believe them. She says to Fail out loud, with her mouth, these words come out of Berelain's mouth, because you said I can't have him, I'm going to take him. Which is just horrifying. Like, it's just petty. It's petty. It's, like, so beneath who she should be. I think, like, I don't like this side of her. But yes, to humiliate Fail. Berelain would not expect Perrin to know her culture without explaining what she expected of him. Yes, like Fail does in the books. This is true. I don't like this take just because I do, as that previous commenter I was talking about, Fail and Perrin's relationship, I don't like aspects of it, but when it's good, it's so good, and I love it so much. I don't know that I would have been as invested in Berelain and Perrin. Berelain going after Perrin never made any sense to me. Just, it doesn't, except for the only reason it makes sense to me is the petty reason that she says, like the canon reason, like the outside of canon reasons. I get it. And people will say that she went after it, like the canon reason they'll say is because she wanted a political marriage. And then they just, well, if that's her motivation, she should have gone for Mat. And I know there's that whole too much like me, but that is a stupid, if her reasoning is that she wants a political marriage to protect Mayenne, then why not go after the one that will actually do it? Why go after the one who does, then that makes her stupider. Like, that makes her stupider to go after the one who won't let her have him, instead of going after the one that she knows would. Like, it's so dumb. Also, her and Mat are nothing alike. Like, what? They're not. Mat is actually sleeping around with, having fun. Like, I'm not shaming Mat. Like, he's having fun. Berelain is canonically not. Like, that is stupidly canon in the books. But it's dumb. Like, her motivations, they're all over the map, and they make no sense to me, and I don't like them. And so, yeah. She's not one of my favorites, to be honest. But, yeah. Somebody once put forth the idea that Berelain should have gone for Fail. And again, I wouldn't like it because I like Fail and Perrin. When they're good, they're good. But that matching, like, that is a matching of equals. Whereas both of, like, Fail and Perrin, not equal in their capabilities. And Berelain and Perrin also not equal in their capabilities. Like, Perrin is a good leader because of ta'Veren. Without ta'Veren, I don't know that he's got any, like, he's a really good blacksmith. Without ta'Veren, without ta'Veren, I don't know that he's going to be good at leading. I don't. Okay, this one is hot. Chris Zorander. Tuon has a stronger moral character than Egwene. And then somebody responded, respectfully, please elaborate your opinion on this, because what? She has a strong will. I don't know. I was going to say stronger will than Egwene, but no, I don't think she has a stronger will than Egwene. She has a very, very strong will. And she has a strong, like, she is consistent in her morality. But I don't know that I would say that because, like, when your morality is bad, being consistent in your morality is not good. Okay, this is, I've expanded their response, so this is very, very long. Okay, so I'm on vacation. Okay, I put them in their cultural contexts and consider how they change as they meet the world. I also consider how they treat friends, allies, and subordinates. Okay. Sorry, I haven't even read further than this. Cultural context, I get. How they change as they meet the world. Tuon specifically doesn't change as she meets the world. Like, that is one of the things that it's one of the things that I think Robert Jordan did that I thought was really brave because it hit me so hard that she didn't. I thought she was going to, and I was looking forward to it. And then she didn't. And I know there are people who disagree with me on this. I like it in the story just because of how it smacked me in the face that she didn't change. Like, when you can make me feel the way that felt, like, I just like, oh, this story has me. Like, I am fully gripped by this story because I am so disappointed in this person that I had such hopes for her, and I was so disappointed, and it felt like a punch in the gut. So how they change as they meet the world. What? Okay, I'm going to keep reading. Egwene comes from a place that is mostly gender equal and egalitarian, but as the book progresses, she is often sexist and treats many people as if they are less than her. I don't know if she's sexist, and not any more than anybody else, to be honest. Okay, and she doesn't respect or properly listen to them as she sees them as beneath her. Okay, this is one of those people who believes that Egwene is arrogant. Okay, she rarely even listens to those she sees as somewhat equal. Yes, she does. She sometimes does not change her opinion even when proven wrong. She judges people, examples for being, yes, that is a thing. That is a thing in the books that drives me crazy, for being sexual, whatever. She even forces people to swear magically binding oaths of service to her. So does Rand. She treats her friends poorly. Pretty much everyone in the books does. The disrespect to Mat, yeah, but so does Mat disrespects her too. The issues with Rand, sexual assault, for which she does not apologize. I've talked about, again, I take out that scene, but I also would like her to apologize to Nynaeve, but okay. She also chooses a romantic partner that she does not trust or respect. She has horrible taste in men. I will definitely give you that. Yes. She also lies and breaks her given word. Again, this is pretty universal in the books. At some point, everybody lies. Egwene is willing to sacrifice everything, including others, for what she sees as the greater good. So does pretty much everybody else. She's undoubtedly a hero and she saves the world more than once, but she is also very morally flawed. Okay, cool. Now, all right. Okay, let's bring this up here. Make sure that's, sorry, I just realized I don't know how much of what I just read was actually on screen. Okay, let me just check. While slavery is utterly abhorrent practice, it was the way of the world for the vast majority of human history, and I do not believe we can say that every single leader pre-1800s was evil simply because their nation practiced slavery. Okay, this is going to get into moral, like, cultural relativism about things that I think we all agree are evil. I'm just going to say, I have heard this take a lot. I do think that in the real world, the presence of people who fight against the status quo is evidence that everybody had the ability to do that. Like John Brown. John Brown was a white man who existed in pre-1800s who literally was willing to, he put his life on the line because he was like, no, slavery's wrong. And when I look at John Brown, I think, okay, great. He's somebody that we can look up to. He also is a warning to us, I think, now, to look around at the status quo and be like, what are we accepting as the status quo now that shouldn't be? Like, there were people in Nazi Germany who fought against the Nazis, despite that being the status quo. Like, the fact that she just accepts it, to me, is just... The fact that something is the status quo and you just go along with it does not make that okay. Like, that does not mean that you are, like, if we are grading evil, somebody who enslaves somebody just because everybody does it, maybe a little less evil than somebody who enslaves somebody in a culture where that is not accepted. But, like, we're talking gradients of evil to me. Like, it's not, I don't, like, people throughout history, when awful things have happened, there are always people who saw that it was wrong. Always. And those people let us know that it was possible for anyone to see it. So that's what, that's my response to all of this. Okay. Let me go back to this here. This is an interesting, and she grows up close to a Tuon Griel that reinforces this. That's interesting. Tuon treats her subordinates with respect and shows them care and consideration. She treats them like dogs. She literally treats her damane like dogs. Okay. One of the people she respects and listens to the most frequently disagrees with her and challenges her. Okay, he's talking about Solutia, or she, I don't know this commenter is a man or a woman. She only once treats a subordinate badly, for which she does extend public penance. That's, again, when she treats the damane badly, she treats all of them badly. She treats them like dogs. She also shows extraordinary willingness to revise and change her opinions. No, she doesn't. When she first meets Mat, he seems a sexual plaything and a servant to the queen. Okay, yes. Okay, she sort of changes her opinion about Mat. That's the opinion. But she doesn't change her opinion about the important thing. This is an interesting take to me. Okay. At the beginning, she does not see damane as human. She completely disregards their words, but she speaks frequently with Anan, despite a difference in opinion. But Anan is not a damane. Satal Anan is just a regular woman. So she's willing to listen to a regular woman. She would not listen to the Marath damane tell her from their own mouths, their own experience. She observes the people around her, but after only a few months after arriving, she negotiates with Gawyn and Elaine as if they are nigh equals. She still says that she would enslave her, though. Like, she doesn't see them as equals. She has no choice at this point, but she doesn't see them as equals. If she saw them as equals, she would be freeing the damane, because if you see them as equals, you do not enslave your equals. You just don't. I just disagree with this. I disagree with this so much. Okay. And she admits to Rand that she is unwilling to free damane because they're integral. This, to me, actually, this statement, and she admits, this admission is, I have a modicum of respect for her for admitting this. A modicum of respect for, admitting that the reason that she is refusing to change is not because she is convinced, but because it reinforces her power. But that makes it worse. That doesn't make it better. That makes her moral character worse to me. Okay, now she sees them as human, which, again, that makes it worse. It just does. That makes it worse. Her as a soldam is disgusting. It's also highly addictive. The pleasure of connecting to the source. Yes. She could have it if she just learned to channel, though. She knows that now. Okay. So, she's willing to change for anything. She's talking, this commenter is talking about him, Tuon being willing to change in her interactions with Rand and Mat. Okay. So she changes in those, but she won't change in anything that threatens her position. Again, this to me is weakness of character. If you are willing to change in things that you can help you navigate the world better, I changed my opinion about this because if I use this, it helps me, then, I'll use an example from my life just because it's a ridiculous example, but I remember when debit cards became a thing. My mom was incredibly religious and was like, I'm not going to use those because that's the mark of the beast. Whatever. She uses them now. Debit cards are no big deal to her now. She changed because it was convenient. Changing because something is convenient and it works for you is actually, people who don't use debit cards, I would go, that's because they're the mark of the beast. If that's your reasoning, I would go, that's ridiculous. But also, I got a bit of respect for you for sticking to your guns. Giving up something because it's convenient to me doesn't mean, because it actually works and it helps your position, is not a moral strength. That's just giving into the convenience. She's not giving up her belief in something that isn't convenient to her. I have just an opposite take on this. This is my opinion on this is just completely opposite. Egwene's sexism, despite coming from a gender equal background, her lack of, I don't think that Egwene is particularly sexist. She does things think about men, men do this, but everybody in the books does that. Calling Egwene sexist, then you're calling every character in the Wheel of Time sexist. Because Egwene does that less than Nynaeve, less than Mat, for sure. Oh my God, so much less than Mat. Egwene is pretty middle of the road with this. She binds people. Again, binding people, that's That's what Tuon does. That's all that Tuon does. Okay. This comment is so interesting. Okay. Tuon's frequent respect and consideration for those she sees as beneath her in her cultural context, that she always keeps her word. She does always keep her word. I will give you that. Her willingness to listen to the opinions of others. I don't think she does necessarily. She won't listen to anybody she thinks is like, no. But okay, her willingness to change her opinion only on things that work for her. That she holds herself accountable for her mistakes. She does that once. Her selflessness and her service to the Empire. I will say this. She does see her duty, and she does do things that she thinks will help the Empire. Okay? But I just... No. Wow. Even reading all this, I just disagree. Okay? And this is just the conversations. Okay. Yeah, more response to this. Okay. This is an interesting take, and there are things in it that I do agree with, but I think the only thing that Tuon is willing to change in is things that she thinks will help. If it doesn't serve her, she won't change her mind. And I don't think that is moral character, in my opinion. Okay, Arosa MG. I love both, but for me, the show is... Okay, we got this math symbol again. Because it's a hot take, I'm going to assume it's greater than. The show is greater than the books. That I'm assuming is a hot take. I think this would shock people to hear. Like, people, especially Reddit. If you've read the books, you don't love the show. There are people who like the show better, and people who have read all of the books who like the show better. That just is a fact. You have to accept it. If you don't like the show, it's just not for you. That's fine. But yeah, okay. There are things in the show that I do like better. Like, I love all of the backstory on Moraine. I think that's great. I think it's weird that we don't get it in the books, actually, considering how she's related to everybody. But yeah, Gunnar Stahl. Brandon S. thinks the finale of season 2 is bad and the character arcs fulfilled were unearned through storytelling. This is Brandon Sanderson's take. I don't know if that's this person's take or not at all. I did know that this is Brandon Sanderson's take. I disagree with Brandon Sanderson. That's such a weird thing to say. He's a best-selling author. I'm a nobody cartoon with a YouTube channel. But I thought that the story arcs in season 2 were, like, Matt's story arc was fantastic. Nynaeve's ramping up to a story arc that I think is going to land in some, like, not entirely, but we're going to get some stuff from next season. Rand, I think, had a complete, Gawyn had a complete arc. And Moraine and Lan, I think that they were definitely earned. So, but that's, again, I am not a best-selling author. I just know what I felt watching it. Book of Skrulls. Most of Gawyn hate is down to missteps in Jordan's writing and misogyny. I do think this. I have issues with Gawyn, but I think, I don't know about missteps in Jordan's writing, but I definitely, except for that, I do think there's certain, anyway, whatever. I do think misogyny is a huge part of the Egwene hate. Weirdly, I will get much more defensive about Egwene than I will about my girl. There she is, Nynaeve. Because if people don't like Nynaeve, I get it. Nynaeve, usually the reasons they don't like Nynaeve are just her aggression and her being rude and physically violent. And I'm like, okay, those are all valid reasons to not like somebody. Whereas usually when people are not liking Egwene, it's but she just wants so much, and she wants to learn, and she changes wherever she, it's just built on things that make those, I've heard people say, oh, but, she just, when she goes with the Aiel, she just becomes an Aiel. When she goes with the Aes Sedai, she immediately takes her hair down and, talk about how she basically adapts to whatever culture she is in. And I'm like, well, that's her personality. That's a consistent personality type that she has. You've just told me that her personality is consistent. Okay, whatever. And then, she's ambitious, and a lot of, specifically her being rude to Rand really annoys people, which why is that? Why? It's, a lot of it definitely feels like misogyny to me. So I get very defensive about her. Okay, we got to reply to this. For whatever the reason, Egwene was an annoying, egotistical, I am always right, stubborn brat, and the worst part was she was wrong about so much. I don't know that she was wrong about that much, but okay. Watch season 1 before I started reading the books is her only saving grace. Oh, okay, interesting. In the books, it just keeps going. Okay, so this person saw season 1 and then read the books. Probably didn't find her annoying in the show and found her annoying in the books. Again, I would find it weird that you only find Egwene annoying going from the books to the show, because they all dive down in their maturity level. All of them do, not just Gawyn. Okay, Janet Vaughn. If you do not like the show, don't watch it. The books are still available to read. So fucking true. I do not understand. Like, again, as I said before, I'm at a point in my life where I'm just like, if I don't like something, I don't watch it, or I don't read it, or I don't go to that movie. Like, I don't engage with entertainment that I do not have to. Because why? Why would I do that to myself? I see no reason to. So this is so true. The books are still there. If you don't like the show, that's fine. You don't have to watch it. You also don't have to go into the comments or the replies of anybody who likes it and try and convince them not to like it. Like, that is the weirdest thing in the world to me. Like, I don't like this thing. You also shouldn't like it. What? I don't like mushrooms. Do I watch people eating mushrooms and then try and convince them not to eat that dirty, slimy, nasty fungus? I may have just done that to you. But, like, no, I don't do that. Because why? Okay, Michael Camp. I skip basically every Perrin POV after the Dragon Reborn. I remember his arc well enough that it doesn't detract me from the overall story, and it cuts my reread time by like 40% and one giant slog. I'm wondering if you mean after The Shadow Rising. Because that's, like, The Shadow Rising is Perrin's biggest book. Like, that's it. So, okay. I mean, because if that makes more sense. Because there is just that really, really long, I'm going to get my wife section. So, okay, that must be, I'm saying that's the case. Okay. Also, I like Sanderson's Mat better than RJ's late series Mat. Okay. That's the second person to say this. I'm okay, because the other person did say Knife of Dreams over Gathering Storm, not just all of RJ's Mat. So I'm wondering, I'm not at Knife of Dreams yet in my latest reread, so, Season 1 is better than Season 2. I wonder, like, maybe because Season 1 is more close to the book. Maybe that's why this person likes it better. Because Season 2 definitely deviates. Like, it's books 2 and 3 smushed together with a lot of Moraine's family backstory thrown in, and obviously having to adjust things to get Mat to where he needed to be, because Mat was, like, there's a lot of deviation. Definitely, to use the term Rafe used, the heart and the spine is definitely still there, but obviously, yeah, like, there's differences. But, that's interesting. That is interesting. Okay, Whitney Davis. I don't like Mat that much, never warmed up to him, and his future relationship with his wife makes me think he got much worse in the future, especially his regard for those who could channel. Okay, I mean, Mat's taken some hits in there. I did ask for hot takes, because Mat is one of the most popular characters in the book, so, like, just in general in the fandom. So hot take, people not liking Mat. I do, as I said, there's a lot of stuff from Mat that I just pretend doesn't happen in order to like him. Like, a lot of the way he talks and thinks about women, just get that out of my brain. This is, like, his relationship with his wife, this is a very negative, like, I'm not saying this is wrong, interpretation of what happens in the future. The reason I have a positive idea of what happens in the future for him is because I want to, because I like him, because of all the stuff that I erased from him, but also because RJ planned for him to be the focus of the Outriggers. The only reason that him being the focus of the Outriggers makes any sense to me, I could be wrong about where he was planning to go with this, obviously, but the only story in that would make sense to me, because he set up the Shanshan to be so unlikable, is to fix that shit. And, like, to free the slaves and either dismantle the Shanshan Empire or just reform it entirely in a better way. Like, that's the only way it makes sense. I don't know what other story you're telling with Mat and Tuon that would be in any way pleasant or interesting, and that was the story that he wanted to tell. So that's like, I am reading into the intentions of a man who's no longer with us, so I don't know, but that's why I go there in my brain. Okay, obviously full spoilers. Gawyn, by using the rings and dying in the last battle, caused Gawyn to be able to save the world with the flame of Tar-Valon. This is an interesting take, and I do think that one read, and maybe the read we're supposed to take of it, is that the reason that Egwene was willing to go out was because of the grief and, like, the magical grief that she was feeling for losing her warder. I choose to believe she would have done it anyway, because Egwene was a hero. Like, I don't think she only would save the world because she felt so sad and like that. I think that Egwene would put the fate of the world above herself and was selfless in that. So I don't think, and I think putting that on Gawyn takes away from Egwene's agency as a person. And so, yeah, I do wonder though. You could ask Brandon Sanderson, like this was one of his books. I don't know if this was his plot point. This could be an RJ plot point, but I don't know if that is. I think we're supposed. I don't know. I don't know if I think we're supposed to believe that. I don't know if we're supposed to think that the reason she did it was because of Gawyn, but I don't, and I don't. Largely because no, I don't want to think that of Egwene. Like I don't. I just want to think that she would have done it anyway. Hot take right on the heels of that one. I actually kind of like Gawyn. Lisa Ashley. Okay. I watched a video once where somebody went through and like fixed his story. Basically just reordered things and maybe changed some interactions, and it's like, okay, that makes sense to me. I like him early on. I don't later. But I did ask for hot takes. This is a hot take. The Gawyn comments are coming in. Okay, Gawyn isn't nearly as bad or as stupid as the fandom makes him out to be. But again, hot take. Okay, let me just, okay. The reply here, that was from Sayin Scars, and then this is Samart Crafts. Kind of agree, sneaking behind enemy lines with near invisibility to take out the enemy leader is a good idea, but bad communication. He should have told his allies so they could work together in some way. Also, Lan's plan was worse and probably shouldn't have worked. He tried to bull rush a whole army with no backup. The Two Rivers men just happened to be able to break a hole for him, and Demandra doesn't drop a ton of rocks on him or blow up the ground at Lan's feet. Lan won because Lan is awesome. But also, yes, okay, a lot of manly men just doing manly things. Gawyn just wanted to be the main character. He could have told anybody that he was doing that, but he didn't tell anybody. And he doesn't trust any of the women in his life. And he will trust the word of a weird peddler who tells him that Rand killed his mommy. Anyway, okay, I did ask for hot takes. Gawyn, sure. Yeah. It's hurting my heart to have read all of that positive stuff about Gawyn. Okay, next hot take by Arosa MG. Cad Swain is overrated. I don't think... Oh, do you mean in the books or by the fandom? Okay. Take away her objects of power and the other Aes Sedai could have filled in. She certainly shouldn't be Amyrlin. Huh. Okay, so I think they're saying she's overrated by the Aes Sedai. She is incredibly powerful. I think even without the objects of power that she has in her hair, she's, aside from Nynaeve, like, she's pretty much top. And the Aes Sedai can feel that. Right? Like they don't feel the objects of power. They feel her ability. So they can feel that she's above them, which they have a stupid ranking system. But I mean, I don't particularly want her to be Amyrlin either. I've had debates with people about this. I worry that she's just not going to let any of Egwene's changes stick. And I get my reasoning. I'll just say this here because I didn't get to say this. I talked about this on my podcast, Tarval After Dark, with Nablus and Jess and Kevin. The reason I think that she won't let them stick is not because I think she wants to go back to tradition, because I don't think she gives a shit. But that's the reason that I think she won't let them stick. She doesn't want to be Amyrlin, and I don't think she gives a shit. So I think if the sitters try to change it, she'll be like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. Like, you forced me into this position. I'm not allowed to say no. So I could see her just letting things go back to the status quo before, just because she's in a political position that she doesn't want to be in. But she is competent. Her greatest strength is not her actual strength in the power. Her greatest strength is her centuries of experience and all that she's seen. So, yeah, that's... I mean, she is qualified, but okay. This isn't a hot take, it's just objectively correct. Okay. Right, she really tried to flex in front of Rand because she gentled the most men. He should have said, that's cute, how many Forsaken have you fought? I mean, okay, she's not as powerful as him, that's true. She has 300 years plus of experience. Is it plus or like, she had about 300 years of experience living in the world. He's got like 20. He is not above her. No. He's fought Forsaken because he's living in the apocalypse and he is the dragon. But she has like hundreds of years of experience and living and navigating in a political world. So, But I I don't think she's overrated by the fandom. Like, I don't think she's very well liked in the fandom. X03s. Okay. Remove failed. Must be remove file. That doesn't make any sense. Remove file, and you could still make the story work with very few adjustments. I mean, almost all of the characters, with the exception of, like, Rand, you could, yeah, make this story work with very few adjustments, but I like Fael. I like what she brings to the story, but okay. Also, Egwene should have died in the middle of the series? Egwene freaking saves the world. Huh. And Perrin should have been less of a whiner. Yeah, I'll give you that one. Oh, these are hot takes. These are hot takes. Okay, Jusiris. I don't like Sanderson's writing style. I bounce off it so hard I never never read the last book despite starting it several times. Okay. I mean, it definitely is a different style. Like, you definitely feel it. Especially, like, I don't think I felt it as much the first time, because, you know, obviously you waited a long time for the first one, but you definitely feel it when you're going through, like, just, oh, wow, yeah, he's a different person. I'm okay with it. It doesn't feel like art. It does, okay, it feels like the same world, but it definitely feels like a different person telling the story. So, yeah, I get this. Not everybody's style is for everybody, so I'm sad you couldn't finish the story, though. I hope you know how it ended. Okay, Legacy TCG1. The Shan-Chan were not evil, and then someone very, very angry about this. I agree. The Shan-Chan were not evil, like capital E, evil. They are not trying to serve the Dark One. But they are evil, like small e, the banality of like the human evil. They are human evil. But they are not, like, they want to serve the light. They want to fight the Dark One as much as anybody else. So they are not intentionally evil. Like, not in the, like, they aren't dark friends, basically. They aren't evil in the sense of, like, if you were an Aes Sedai just meeting a random Shan-Chan on the road, you would not be able to kill them. They're not a dark friend. But, yeah, they add evil into the world. They make the world a worse place by existing. So, yeah, that's bad. That's bad. So, yes, I two minds of this, depending on what your definition of evil is. Yeah. All right, there you have it. Those are my responses to your hot takes. Actually, since recording this, I've seen people post more in the Discord, and of course, people put their hot takes in the comments of these videos as well. So I guess maybe I'll be doing this again at some point. But yeah, let me know your thoughts. Oh, I'm nervous on these hot takes and on my takes on the hot takes. And if you have any other hot takes, let me know in the comments below. And if you like my content and you want to support me, I do have a Patreon that is also linked in the description below. To my patrons, as always, thank you. Thank you so, so much for your continued support. I could not do this without you. This is possible because of you. So thank you. And with that, I am going to end this here. So please like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye.